Hey, what's up, my people? How you doing? My name is Dalton, and this is Dalton My World. And yes, I have a reaction video for you. Now, this reaction video is going to be about a provision that Biden and the Democrats are talking about removing. And it's a lot of the focus is on the Texas border, but it's for any borders of the United States against illegal immigrants. Okay, not just the Texas border, but a lot of focus is on the Texas border. It is called Title 42. Okay, we're gonna take a look at this and see what it's all about. Let's do this.
Texas Department of Public Safety Lieutenant Christopher Olivares. Lieutenant Olivares, it's always a pleasure to see you. Thanks very much for being here. What do you think it's going to mean when you see Title 42 go away? Texas DPS is already working on a number of other problems on the southern border, like human smuggling, like drug smuggling coming in. Your thoughts on reversing Title 42 and what it will mean at the border?
Good morning, Maria. Again, thanks for having me on. So what we're going to see is complete chaos. And we talked about this, I believe, last week when I was talking with you. And I had mentioned the numbers that we're already at well over 800,000 just for the first 5 months of the fiscal year. And now we're already going to hit 1 million after these 6 months are complete. That is just goes to show you that this border crisis continues to escalate compared to last year. When we thought last year were historic numbers and decades that we have never seen, we are on track right now. If the way we're going right now, by the end of this fiscal year, we're going to hit well over 2 million encounters along our southwest border.
That's unbelievable. You sent us this video that we want to show of Texas DPS officers rescuing a female immigrant who was smuggled in a duffel bag from a vehicle fire. This is the kind of issues that you're dealing with all the time, finding people smuggled in cars, in vans, but this was a duffel bag?
Right, Maria. So this is what our men and women of DPS are dealing with on a daily basis with these human smugglers. And because of this border crisis, ever since last year, the human smuggling organizations are continuing to profit off of this crisis, and they're continuing to escalate their tactics, especially how they smuggle illegal immigrants. This is an example right here where they're smuggling a female immigrant inside a duffel bag.
Coyotes.
The driver fled on foot. He left the vehicle behind.
Latin people from Mexico to America,
of course, our men and women
I believe they're called snakes,
and they were able to rescue that female before she was burned inside that vehicle. So
that smuggle Asian people into
public safety, and that's the whole purpose of why the state of Texas is having to step in. Because of all these events that we're seeing play out throughout the year, human smuggling, drug smuggling, even people that are being victimized, the loss of life that we're seeing because of this border crisis.
Yeah, and now Fox Business is learning explosive new details, Chris, about how the administration is preparing for this expected surge of migrants once Title 42 is lifted. A U.S. Customs and Border Patrol source telling us that the White House is plotting to expedite screenings of migrants, potentially skipping out of critical paperwork and vetting before turning them loose. Lieutenant, what is the story here? The migrants come in, they are processed, and then they're just released into the community?
Well, that's what we're seeing right now, Maria. Right now, I'm actually in Eagle Pass, Texas, where we're starting to see a very significant influx of illegal immigrants coming across in this specific sector right here. And because of that, because of the overcrowding in the Border Patrol processing facilities, the vast majority of these migrants that are coming across are being released into the communities, or they're taken to a local convenience store to buy a bus ticket, and then they're able to board a bus and ultimately go to wherever they're trying to get to, whatever destination they're trying to get to. And that's a very key point right there, that the majority of these individuals, especially the drugs that are coming in, fentanyl that's coming through our borders, is not staying in the state of Texas. It's going out through the entire country. And that's what the American people need to understand, that this border crisis is affecting everyone. And it's only going to get worse, especially when Title 42 is completely canceled. We're going to see double, triple the numbers than what we're seeing right now.
Dang,
so
can you imagine?
That's what I want to ask you about the drugs coming in. I have not heard President Biden mention the word fentanyl once.
They don't have enough people to handle all that.
Overdose deaths as a result of fentanyl. fentanyl coming through the ports of entry and coming through that border that you're at right now. What is the answer to stopping this illicit narcotic from coming into this country and killing Americans? And I know that it's made in China. We don't know if the president has ever brought it up to Xi Jinping. Why are they making fentanyl in China and trafficking it through Mexico into the United States?
Right, and those are conversations that the federal government needs to have.
So they're making it in
they
China
need to put more pressure because we know the precursors for fentanyl is being exported into Mexico, and the Mexican drug cartels are using those chemicals to process this very lethal drug, also with counterfeit pills that are killing hundreds of thousands of Americans. And that's a very good point right there, bringing up as far as why is the federal government not addressing this issue, this fentanyl crisis that we're seeing. And that is why, again, going back to what the state of Texas is doing, that's the whole purpose why Governor Abbott launched Operation Lone Star, is to crack down on these criminal organizations, the drugs. Our men and women have seized over 1,200 pounds of fentanyl. That's over 300 million lethal doses. That's just on the state side. That's not even including what our federal partners have seized. So this is a very lethal crisis that's going on right now. Something needs to be done about this situation as far as addressing the issue with fentanyl and protecting the American people from these criminal organizations that are manufacturing this drug.
So far, it's you and your colleagues at Operation Lone Star who are protecting Texas, the border, and America. Real quick, Lieutenant, before you go, I've got to get your take on the number of terrorists coming in. Marsha Blackburn's office told me last year they encountered at least 34 people who were on the terrorist watch list. Is there any way to quantify if you're seeing the bad guys and gals coming in through the border?
34 terrorists.
Well, our men and women are encountering these individuals that are coming across our borders. Border Patrol is encountering them. And that's another issue, too.
It only takes one
There's
to
no
mess some stuff
transparency
up.
from the federal government
34.
in regards to suspected terrorists that are crossing our borders.
Damn.
That is a dangerous threat to national security.
Wow, it sure is. Christopher Oliveira, it's great to see you. Thanks very much.
That's a lot of terrorist people. Damn, people, that's a lot. That's a lot of terrorists to be 34. Okay, in the mix. It only takes one and a dirty bomb in the right place, and it's a mess. Okay, especially like our nuclear power facilities. That only takes one. And I feel for people who's trying to live a better life. I get that. That's only human nature. I get that. But I think also that we have to find a happy medium somewhere. You know what I'm saying? We need to find a happy medium in which we can, we can let people in through moderation and proper channels. Okay, that way, as well as support the borders, not just Texas border, but definitely Texas border, but the borders. Support the borders and the border patrol. Give them more people, put more money there. Instead of ignoring the problem like Biden is doing and acting like it'll fix itself. It's not. Okay, it didn't fix itself when he released a lot of the limits that were put on by Trump when he became president, and then all these people flooded through, and then you had a lot of children getting abused. Okay, you had a lot of children, teenagers being forced into gangs. You had them being abused by the people supposed to have been watching them. Some of the children wasn't able to get connected back to their parents. You had gang members coming through. You ever heard 34? They called 34 people that was on the terror watch list for the United States, and that's just in one border of Mexico. So I would like to see the Democrats and the Republicans, because the Democrats ain't gonna be in power for long after this year. So I like to see the Democrats and the Republicans take the time and work out something that's good for both sides and the people. Okay? Because if you get 2 million people flooding through in 1 year. People, I'm telling you, it's going to be chaos. It's going to be chaos, and there's going to be a lot of people that's going to get hurt, abused, used, forced into gangs. Children that's going to be, it's already been children that were mentally, physically, and spiritually abused by the people that's supposed to have been taking care of them. I'm talking about the United States. They just don't have the buildings. They don't have. Now they can get it, but it's not in place, and they're just pretending like nothing's happened. Okay, and when you have this flood come in, because all they're thinking about is future votes. Okay, honestly, I'm be honest with you. So if you get this flood come in, combined with a recession, okay, and inflation that we have, it's gonna be chaos. And the drugs coming in through the Mexican border is a logical thing, okay? And the reason I'm saying that, it's not a good thing, but I'm saying that because it is the weakest point. So you always find the weakest link to where you want to break stuff, where you want to break it. When you want to break something, you find that weakest link. And right now, the Texas border is the weakest link. And if they move that Title 42, you're going to have chaos. And Biden and all those people sitting on the hill, they don't have to deal with that. It's the American people, hardworking American people that's got to deal with that. And we have given more than $40 billion to Ukraine, okay? And we probably most likely will give more than that to Ukraine. Nevertheless, they seem to act like that they cannot come together and work out a deal with the Republicans, and they're going to have to make sure that the people coming in are treated fairly, with respect, not abused, and is done however the law states it should be done, whether it's sent back or if they're given immunity because of something going on in their country. All those processes are there if they want to use them, but no one gets everything they want. Okay, when you're making deals with people, no one gets everything they want, and people, they just got to grow up. If people up there in Congress, you got to grow up. You're not gonna get everything you want, and that's part of making a deal. Okay, and once you come to that realization, then make a Title 43, one that the Republicans and the Democrats both agree on. And it'd be good, not only for the American people, but for the illegal immigrants coming through and their safety. Alright? I mean, come on, y'all know how ruthless it is. Come on. These coyotes, that's what they call them, Mexican smugglers, the smuggled immigrants are called coyotes, and I believe, like I stated, the ones that smuggle Asian people in are called snakes. So each country has their own word for it, but it's all the same thing. Okay, and he left. I mean, he was smuggling in a suitcase or a duffel bag, which means that person was smart, probably small, if not a kid, and left her to burn in the van. They don't care. These smugglers don't care. Okay? They're about ruthless as the politicians who are just thinking about votes and not the welfare of the people that they're allowing in. All right. That's my viewpoint on it. That's my reaction. Hope you enjoyed it. Ask you to give me a thumbs up. Ask you to subscribe. And without a doubt, I ask you to share this. And I'll wrap to y'all later. Peace.